When I was about 17, I went through a really, 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 really rough time. And I won't get into the details, but I basically was schmooishmeidel. And I had had issues on and off for like 2 or 3 years with schmooishmeidel ideation at that point. Unbeknownst to me, I had undiagnosed ADHD, undiagnosed, obviously, like undiagnosed like anxiety problems, and I had had undiagnosed eating disorders for a long time because, quite frankly, the sports that I was in, they were really common, so I thought that they were just normal. So that's going to mess with your head, right? Messes with your gut, messes with your body, messes with your nervous system, messes with your head. And I remember one day, I was in this like phase where I was just comfort watching Lord of the Rings. And so I was like, I would like just watch I would watch the Lord of the Rings like over and over. I had the soundtracks, I had the extended versions when they came out on DVD. I had everything, okay? Because that just made me happy, okay? And one day I just found myself unable to get out of bed. And I was laying there and I was like really, really like just having this moment of like, would anyone even care type of thinking going on, which is pretty common for that. And all of a sudden, I felt this overwhelming presence, and I knew it was a feminine presence, kind of like wrap itself around me, but it just felt like being held. And all of a sudden, every muscle in my body just relaxed. And for whatever reason, that whole line of thought just stopped. Like it just stopped in that moment. So I didn't think much of it. And honestly, I didn't really register it that much that day. Like I just knew that it had felt that much better at that point in time, but I didn't think about it much after that. So fast forward, and a couple of years ago, I was really, I've been doing my psychic mediumship work professionally for just over 10 years. And I do a lot of energy work. I do a lot of like meditations, talking to past and future selves and things like that. And so I went into this meditation and I'd been really struggling with a couple of things and wondering like what I needed to do, like where they'd really come from, right? And I'd been doing therapy and all sorts of things, and it still wasn't doing it, right? It just like was like there was something I just couldn't get to the bottom of. And all of a sudden I went into this deep meditation. I always call my guides in. And I drop in, and all of a sudden I see myself as that 17-year-old lying in her bed, just falling apart. And I went up and I gave her a hug and I said, everything's going to be okay. But it was more of like a telepathic communication. And I felt complete love for her and complete compassion. And then I could literally feel her muscles relax as I was like giving her this energy hug. And then I stood back and I watched her kind of like get herself together and start to get up and go about her day. And then I was back out of it. And it occurred to me that the reason I had felt that relief as a 17-year-old in that moment was because my future self had gone back and I had comforted myself when I needed it most. And then the things that were, kind of like still sticking for me just a couple years back, they went away because I had done this like time travel quantum leap to help heal what was going on back then. So I want you to think about, if you have certain sticking patterns, maybe something like this might help. You don't always have to know exactly when or where you need to be or when or where you need to go to and comfort your past self, but you can let your consciousness show you what needs to be addressed in the moment and just trust with that it's going to pull you where you need to be in the moment. And if it feels mentally and emotionally safe for you. If you don't feel like it's going to be a safe option for you, don't do it. And I think it's super cool that I talk about this all the time, but when I work with people's guides and when I work with their higher selves, it's actually our future selves and future civilizations and beings on the other side in different forms who come through from the future to comfort us now. So your future self can come through and comfort you now and give you advice and wisdom now. And that's actually a huge predictor of success, because it's not just forced visualization. You're actually calling in that energy, and you will begin to subconsciously actually act from it and embody it now, which is super cool.